wonderful.
Totally.
Oh, good. It warms my heart. Back on our computers.
Hi, Natasha.
Natasha,
Hi,
hi.
Hadi.
Oh my God, what happened? You couldn't believe we were supposed to have a space to rent our class, and they didn't have a key to get in. So we did this incredible class that ended just this minute
Oh my.
in the space. So I think this is pretty good preparation for like literally 5 minutes, right, Elizabeth? I'd say 5 minutes this got set up.
That's incredible. It's an amazing gong behind you.
This is my new Chinese wind gong.
Oh, it's beautiful.
I should actually play it for people. I wonder what it would sound like through.
Yes.
And
I got a gong.
Oh, what kind of gong do you have?
It's a full moon gong.
A full moon?
No, it's a new moon gong. It's a new moon gong. I just got it on Wednesday.
Oh, congratulations.
Thank you. And I got my spiritual name on Friday.
Okay. And what's that?
Kirtan Seema Kar.
Kirtan Seema. Is it Sima?
No, Seema.
Kirtan Seema Kar. Okay. And what? I know Kirtan, excuse me, is the song.
Right. And it's
Seema in Hebrew is beautiful.
I'm sorry?
Seema in Hebrew is beautiful.
Oh, I love it. Ha! That's wonderful. It's the princess lioness who finds the limitlessness of her soul through sharing sacred music.
Oh, so Seema is what? The Kirtan is the sacred music.
Right. And Seema is the limitlessness.
Limitlessness. Beautiful. Congratulations.
Thank you. I'm so excited. It feels so perfect.
Wonderful. Let's see. How would I know that anyone else was here? Oh, I know. I have to put it on a different
Gallery view, yeah.
Quite a few people are here. I'm sorry. Well, I think we're almost ready to start. We still have a few minutes, and very happy to be here from New York City. So in Zoom, I see a head. There's still a person, even if they might not be on. Is that true? Does somebody know about Zoom? Natasha, do you know, like, if I see a square with a person's with a light?
They just might have their camera turned off. Okay. There's a start video and a stop video button. So if their camera is turned off, maybe they're just waiting for it to start. Then everyone could turn on their camera.
And that's okay. People might want to listen and not have their camera on if they choose. That's fine too. However you would like to do it. And this is wonderful. It's amazing that I'm here and you're here, and it's the middle of summer, and we're here. And I think, sometimes people put up pictures of themselves as well. All kinds of ways you can use Zoom and participate. And that, I think, is one of the great things about it. Can everybody hear me? That's important. I want to make sure I'm speaking loud enough. Any feedback?
I have earphones on.
Okay. Raise your hand if you can hear me well. Oh, great. Oh, somebody must have on mute because they're not hearing me, maybe? Okay. Okay.
There you go.
That's enough.
You were on mute.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I think is now a good time to start. I believe so. Let's keep our word with our time, and that really helps all of us, right? It gives us the maximum amount of time. So welcome, everybody. Thank you for tuning in and showing a great interest in this topic. So very happy to be here with you. If we haven't met before, my name is Hadi, and I am talking to you from New York City. I have a yoga studio here called the Treehouse, Hadi NYC. We have classes all day and trainings and Qigong and Katona Yoga and all kinds of courses and classes. And so this is a nice place to do the calls from. So welcome to the studio. This is our online studio, which I'm just getting used to, and I'm so happy to be with you. This call is a call that I want to offer. I wanted to offer this particular one in honor of my husband's birthday, which was Friday, and he turned 62. And that's a powerful age for many things, as we know. And also, we've been together 30 years, so it's all these milestones. And I do online courses, and I do a course in meditation. I also do a course in the Moon Centers. And the Moon Centers are really about how feminine energy flows. So I wanted to honor my husband by doing this first of a series of 3 webinars that'll be on Sundays, and on love, because I'm especially in the space of love and gratitude for everything that I've learned from my teacher and having such a long and beautiful marriage. And I do honor the teachings of Kundalini Yoga, of Taoism, of when I was a child, of my Jewish upbringing, because I got so many tools from all of these things. And I feel grateful that I was born a seeker of love. I think I really was, because I was really looking to see where it was for my whole life. And so I'd like to take a few moments, tune in, take a few breaths together. I actually have a few people live in the studio who may want to participate. One is here that she does want to participate. I'm excited. Her name is Meg Poe, and she's a psychiatrist and healer, a mama, and an entrepreneur. And she teaches a course on love at NYU. So we have an expert on love too. All of us are an expert on love. And the key is that, that what's really true is even if it's not working out for you, you're getting trained in being an expert on love. And I hope today, after I share some of these really interesting distinctions about love, that you'll have a new way to look at it and possibly, have a breakthrough, have a uplifting moment to how you can see love in your life. And we can enjoy being together, talking about it. How I'd like to set this class up is that I'll talk about love for a little while, and maybe Meg will come and offer some things. Then I'll open it up to some questions, and I love questions. And after the questions, we'll do a meditation. And this meditation is quite nice, and it's meditation to relieve the fear of love. Isn't that interesting? That there's actually a feeling. And so I want to welcome everyone. There might be men here and women here and young people and elders. I welcome you all to the discussion. I hope you've brought some questions with you, and let's begin. Is there anyone here who's never practiced Kundalini Yoga before? I'm going to turn the page. Raise your hand if you've never practiced Kundalini. Okay. Okay. I didn't see any. You can speak out, but in any case, we're going to tune in. To tune in, we bring our palms together, and this is an important part of love, actually, because part of love is humility, and we'll talk about that. So when we tune in, we honor the people who loved us enough to teach us and help carry us through when we, couldn't find the way. And I think of my algebra teacher and my grandfather, basically. My algebra teacher told me that I never had to learn algebra and it would still be fantastic. Life is important to me. And my grandfather, who was incredible. after what he went through in the wars and the Holocaust, to have a smile for me and to have kindness on his face all the time. It was really an amazing teacher. So he also was very funny. He knew a lot about marriage and love. And when my grandmother would talk a lot, she was from Austria, she liked to cook and talk. Those two things, a babe. And she would talk a lot. He would wink at me and turn off his hearing aid on both ears and wink at me and just look at my grandma. And we would laugh and laugh. And my grandmother later and would say, "Don't tell him I know he's doing that. It's a fun game." So it's so sweet. All those sweet things happen. And I thank all these people when I tune in. So bring your palms together. We use a mantra. Om Namo. Om is one Namo to call upon. Guru Dev Namo. Guru is wisdom. Teacher, Dev is subtle. Namo. We call upon the subtle teacher, which is everywhere. And also everyone on this call we can learn from. Everyone on this call is creating this space together so that we can have this experience. Inhale. Om Namo Gurudev Namo. Om Namo Gurudev Namo. Om Namo Gurudev Namo. Deep breath. In gratitude to our teachers and the love they share. And exhale. So welcome. Let's take a few breaths. Just close your eyes and take a few breaths so you can really be present. And I'm sure the word love brings so much up for every person. Really follow your breath with your awareness and get into the body so we can have a discussion and be present. You can feel the inhalation and the exhalation of the breath. And bring your awareness to your breathing. You'll feel cool breath coming in the nostrils and a warm breath leaving the nostrils. Try to follow where the breath is moving in your body. Being sensitive to your sensations acknowledges the feminine energy of receiving. So the more you're able to sense your breath, notice the temperature and the different sensations in the body, the more receptive you are to observing your own mind and participating with others. You may hear some city sounds that are coming to you from the city. So just let them pass, like any thoughts that pass as well. Activate that observer mind that is watching your breath, that is sensing your senses. That neutral mind that can see everything that's going on without being pulled in any one direction. Start to activate that part of yourself. Notice any part of your body or mind that needs attention. Let's take a deep breath together. Inhale. Give attention to that part. Exhale. And stretch the arms up, please. Shake them out. Move your spine a little bit. And please clap a few times over your head. And that's for the alert mind. So welcome. Okay, let's talk about love. I have I've listened to many lectures by Yogi Bhajan on love. I've read about love. Always felt love was kind of like an identity for me, right? An identity. I had when I first met my husband and we weren't dating or anything like that, I had just recovered from a stroke. It was in my late 20s. And we both, I lived in Swampscott, he lived on an island in Nahant. And what do you do when you're not working is you join a rock band. That's what I did. And so I joined a rock band. I had a Fender Rhodes, a piano in my attic apartment. And I couldn't drive after that, so I found a place close by where somebody taught jazz and rock piano. And so I said, I'm going to get my skills up. And I had great hair. It was basically about the hair. And I would sing and play. But great hair is very good for rock bands. So I went to take a lesson with Dave Frank. And I hadn't been keeping time with time changes or anything like that at all. And when I took my first lesson with him, he said, you're an hour early. And I looked at my watch and I said, yeah, but Minnie Mouse says it's 6 o'clock. And he said, okay, I'll give you a lesson. I mean, we weren't really connecting well at the very beginning. But winter came and not many people lived up there. So I invited him to Thanksgiving with my girlfriend. And on the way in the car, it was only a few weeks after I started lessons, he was driving and he said, so what do you do with your time? What do you do with your life? What do you want to do with your time? What do you want to do with it? And I said, if I could let everyone know how much I love them, that would be cool for me. After it came out of my mouth, I said, oh, I wonder how the response is going to be to this. And I had a hint that it might be interesting when he said, cool, man, cool, that's very cool. And he's a jazz guy. So I said, really? He goes, yeah, that's cool. And I had a near-death experience, so I was very present to what was really present to me. I was in a space of love. And So I soon after that, I was doing Kundalini Yoga and all kinds of teaching and seeking. I became a great seeker. So I want to share with you some of these real wise parts about love. Dave and I are still together. It's been 30 years. And so sometimes things start out weird. And sometimes, it's many times, really being authentic is really the way to go. So I want to give you a little overview of one of the ways we look at love. One of the ways. When we give this language into love, also realize that Yogi Bhajan did many lectures, the Taoists have many ways to look at this, the Buddhists. I've integrated all this. So I'm happy to write some notes for anyone who's interested. And if you have notes, that could be cool. We can look at, for today's purposes, let's just imagine that we have a few aspects of love. We have physical, mental, emotional, and ultimate, or love, what I call love. And this is from the yoga perspective, very cool. When you look at physical love, which we're all interested in, it's not just sex between people who are adults. It's the coziness that love brings, the snuggles, the touch of the mother or father to the child, the siblings, teasing each other, bumping each other. The physical part of love is absolutely required, no matter what part of those things. Appropriate, of course. Let's say that, all of this in a safe space, what the physical contact of love does body to body, if all given that everything's safe, consensual, all those things, right? Very important. Respectful. What that touch does is it cools the human nervous system. And life is tough. Life is hard. And so we heat up pretty fast. With anger, with upset, with disappointment, with the fluctuations of emotions that come through us, we heat up. And the prana share in a loving touch mixes with what we call the gunas and the tattvas. It mixes with the whole energy of the universe in your body and the body of the other to cool things down and create a harmony that creates rest and relaxation for both people. So when you look at the physical aspect of love, think of it that way, that it's an exchange that through the kindness of it has the potential to deeply relax both people. The child, just the touch of the mother. That pranic exchange, that energy exchange, even the hand nearby, the body nearby where you can be in someone's love. This physical proximity, that's why we like to hang out with people we love. And it's good to be around people that love you. It's healthy and it's healing. And touch is important. As a matter of fact, yogis would say it's essential. It's essential. So that's the physical aspect. And that's one way I'd like us to look at it. It's this beautiful exchange of prana that can mix the two people together and both move with kindness towards harmony and balance. It could happen in a second. That's how powerful your touch is. That's why we do all the meditations where we empower the hands, the touch. Think of it, the cooling touch. Even though we heat up our hands, that just means there's more prana, but the prana mixes and it cools down the nerves. So the second aspect of love is the emotional aspect. Now I want to tell you a little story about this. The emotional aspect is very important because this comes in, this is where people have a lot of attachments and a lot of deep desires of what they want, who they want, how they should look, what they should be like, and all of that. And love from the emotional perspective, we're just talking about it, is when we have a name for it, a nickname for it. It's called an empty well. And that means that you have a desire to solve something from your past with the person you're with now. And when you have that desire to solve something from your past with the person that you're with now, have I been lost? Can people still hear me?
Yes.
Okay. So when you have that desire to solve something from your past, you can never solve it from your past with the person now unless that's done very consciously on your conscience. When it's unconscious and you can't really see the person in front of you, they can give and give and give, and it can never get full. So here's a story of that. When you're doing that, it's like a person who is looking to another person to really fulfill them, to be a certain way, perhaps like their mom or like their dad, and to give them exactly what they didn't get when they were young. And so I once knew this girl, and she would go from person to person. She would go from person to person, and it started looking like people were like life rafts. Like she was in the water, and she would get on that person and really use that person for all her support, her financial or emotional. And if that person didn't come through in one way or the other, off you go. And then she would get on to the next. And we all know that we can't provide everything for each other, but somehow emotionally, this kind of love is called radioactive. It's really hard to get around. And it's always short-lived, very short-lived. Doesn't mean you don't feel love, but it's short-lived, intense, right? And wanting. And what happens is you go person to person, but guess what? You never learn how to swim. So she wasn't learning how to swim through the water and see and choose and discuss and merge and enjoy. And the emotions are physical too. So when the emotions are high, that pranic touch might not get through because there's so much going inside that rest might not come. So you don't get satisfied. Whether it be sexual or just touching or that way, or just being nearby. The solving won't come. So emotional love is something that we watch for, and it's very important. And the reason it's important, because it's based on the feminine energy. Feminine energy is the energy of fluctuating emotions. So in the Moon Center's course, when we work with women and men to look at our emotional IQ, the more we raise it, the more we own how we feel as good, positive messages to who we are and what's going on, and get a willingness to feel it, the less we go for this emotional love, the more conscious we are of this emotional love. The third part of love is mental love. This is a funny thing. I like it, but it's funny because it starts out where you compare. It's like you're comparing resumes. So you're looking at the status of the person. Does it match your status? Do they do this? Do they wear clothes you like? Do they not wear clothes you like? Are they a weight you like? Are they not a weight you like? Are they tall enough? Are they short enough? Do they have enough money? Do they not have enough money? And by the way, these things do change as you get older. If you didn't know, they really do change. But at the moment, if you're coming at it solely from a mental framework, you're doing many comparisons. Are they good? Is this part good? Is this part bad? And you know that you never win with that, right? You never win with that. That is what's happening. Now, the mind is important because you need to observe each other, really see who you're with or what kind of relationship you want to enter, because all love should not be harmful to you. Real good relations are not harming you. They might harm your ego, but that's a deeper conversation. But they won't harm you. So this is important, right, Meg?
Yes.
Yes. You can come up here if you want. And so they won't harm you. So the mental way, when you find yourself comparing people, it's good to know the yogic framework of what we call the neutral mind. The neutral mind is your observer mind. So when you start looking, oh, they don't look exactly this way, they don't have exactly this job, they're not into meditation, they're too into meditation, when you start this whole thing and you get all caught up in it, go to your observer mind. Do a meditation, take a walk, really go into the observer mind. See that person as a person. Simply as a person. Observing without doing the ping pong ball back and forth, right, Meg? Mm-hmm. Yeah, so observing is a huge part of. I hear noise, but it really, it's a huge part of the mental love, because we need our mind, we need to observe each other. Otherwise, the emotions take over and you don't see what's going on. You need to see red flags, danger zones, where not to go with someone, right? How to respect somebody's boundaries, how to honor your own. So the observer mind, the neutral mind will give you that. So mental love will give you a warning sign in which you can use your neutral mind to see. And I want to do one more and then I'll let you comment. Sure. And the fourth part, the fourth love, is called ultimate love. This is when there's enough safety, there's enough pranic exchange, there's enough power to the touch that it's relaxing to both people. I know that when you're sexually stimulated, you don't think that's relaxing, but I'm telling you, that's where you're headed, right? You're headed to an ultimate merger that is a release and that you relax. Everybody's looking for that deep sleep, right? Right. So, right, that's what we're looking for. So even though right now it's like, can you believe that? Oh, I hope I haven't disappointed or ruined your bubble of what sex is about. But there's a part of you that's looking for that merger to let go into that deep and powerful rest that is ultimately so healing for every single part of you. So really, as you're getting maybe stimulated and all those things come up that match your emotions or that you need or that mentally you adjust, behind the scenes, once you cannot get fooled by any of those, in the ultimate love is where that touch is working and that even if it's being nearby, it might be stimulating, but it's giving a relaxation and a cozy niche, which is why we say, wait a little while, relax, get to know each other. Because then you can feel, is that touch? Is it relaxing you? In the end, do I go home and get a good night's sleep? You know, in ultimate love, it's when two people merge enough that it's a model of cosmic merge. You've heard this before, that everyone is you and you see yourself in the other person. So the other person starts take the desire to love and to be kind to the other person is also being kind to yourself because the love is nourishing to you. So it becomes a kindness to yourself and a kindness, and it goes back and forth like that. It's very beautiful. Very beautiful, and there's many stories about this. It's just nice. And if you're willing to stick it out and learn about it, my husband and I, we have this idea to go out on these dates. We sat there and said, we don't have anything to say, we're fine. We didn't know what to say to each other because we were so cozy and so relaxed. And so we talked about some things and walked around. It's very, very sweet, very sweet. And there's 4 things that you need and 5 things that I want to add something today in order to go through this process of, getting familiar with physical love and what that can be and how that can be healing. Mental love, emotional love rather, and not to get stuck in that, to do enough self-healing to see what's going on. Mental love, to get out of the judgments, and then the ultimate love. And these 4 things, if you want to write them down, you can. I can also have it sent out to you. The first thing you need is tolerance. That's a tough one. You need to be able to hold your temper. And the next thing is patience. Right? And humility. That means know the other person is out there. There's another person. To be humble that we're all in this together. We are all in this together. So it's tolerance. What was the next one? Patience, right? Tolerance, patience. People in the room.
Humility.
Humility. And to hold your temper. Everyone forgets that one. To hold your temper. That's a very big thing. I'm going to add one today called forgiveness. To find out about that and to practice. So tolerance, holding your temper, patience, humility, the other person is you, and forgiveness. And I'll finish up with this, and then we'll take some questions, and Meg can talk. Love isn't really a verb. It's like an action. You know what love is? Love is a practice. Let me just say it. Love is a practice. We all want love like we can pick it from a tree, like a fruit. But it's moving like the river. You know, Rumi says, the ocean refuses no river. Love is always flowing, even if it's just a trickle and you're at the top of a mountain and you're like, I'm never gonna get there. That movement is love. Love is a practice. It really is. And I don't know if you've ever thought of it that way before, but that's truly what it was. When I described that to my husband, he was like, wow, that's amazing. It's true. Love is really a practice. And if you look at those simple distinctions we looked at, and you put them on some sticky notes if that's your thing, or a journal, that becomes your practice. Build your tolerance. Do a Kundalini Yoga if you want, you know. We're going to in a few minutes, and you'll see. Build your tolerance. Develop an ability. Oh, we all have a temper. Who doesn't have a temper? Everybody has a temper. You've got to learn. Apologize if you lose it. Learn. Where is it coming from? What's getting triggered? Learn about yourself. Hold your temper. Third thing, have some patience. They're trying to change. Everybody's on a path. Everybody's flowing towards the ocean. Everybody's doing the best they can, or else they would do better. Keep that in your mind. Have some patience. And the fourth is that humility, that we're all in this. All in this together. See the other person as a human being longing for love and happiness as well. That takes a lot of courage. Love is a practice. Love is like a river that flows. Sometimes it gets stuck in a whirlpool and it's intense and you can't get out of it. You don't know what to do. And then all of a sudden you pop out and there you are floating down in the sun, very happy. And then there's a waterfall. Oh my God. Oh, wow, I like that waterfall. Very passionate. I like it. Who knows? But it's like a river. It flows. And to close up this part and take your questions. As a cultural or universal kind of wisdom right now, as we open up to the upliftment of feminine wisdom, we are not comfortable with the fluctuations and the flows of We want it to be simple. We don't want any blocks in that river. We don't want any stones in that river. We don't want floods. We don't want it to be too slow, too fast. Our tolerance is so low for being human beings, and yet we're human beings. It's a paradox. Our tolerance is almost zero for the depth of feeling creatures that we are. No tolerance for ourselves. Love changes and flows. So studying the moon centers, which is the fluctuations of feminine energy for both men and women, is a conversation of how we flow together, how the emotions change and flow. In a woman through a month-long cycle, especially when she's getting her period. For men, as they breathe, it's changing quickly. And for everything in between, depending on how much feminine energy you have in what body you're ever in, or how much masculine energy you have in whatever body, you are in a flow. And to remember that is the study of the moon centers and the dance of feminine and masculine energy. So really, I got my way, because all I want to do is talk about love. And love is really the study of how masculine and feminine energies dance and how we can enjoy that dance. And do you know that you can enjoy the dance even when it's really rough? You don't enjoy it, you endure to enjoy it. You're strong enough that you know this too will change. As deep as it hurts, as much pain as it causes, you know deep inside. And the only reason you forget is because the nervous system isn't strong enough to remember. So then you need a friend. Hey, this is going to change. I love you. Oh, yeah. Oh, wait. Yes, right. Oh, this is gonna change. And then it changes, and then you're onto a different new journey. So, yeah, love is not something you can pick from a tree. It's not an apple. It's not a fruit. It's very sweet and sometimes sour. It's practice. And it changes and flows with your life all the time. So, let's see. Okay. I wanted to, yeah, for about a couple minutes. Yeah, I'm going to invite Meg, and then I'd like to take some questions from people and talk.
Can stay there. I can just stay next to you.
Yeah, come sit next to me, next to this gong, gorgeous gong.
Okay.
Lilies.
Lower. Okay, how's that? Hello, everybody. Hari, I loved what you said. Hari is also one of my teachers and mentors and dear friends and collaborators and many, many things. One iteration of love deeply in my life, so thank you. Such wisdom, such poetry, such artistry. You know, you already hit so much of what I would normally say if I were teaching in NYU or wherever. The love is a practice is one of the key things. I don't know how many of you have read Erich Fromm, The Art of Loving, but his book is based on this concept, F-R-O-M-M, Erich. His book is that love is a practice. We practice learning how to cook. We practice calligraphy. We practice archery. We practice piano, but we don't necessarily have a conscious, attentive practice of love in our lives. And love is attention, and attention is love. So putting that into a practice is extremely important. So that's one note I wanted to make. I'm just going to hit a few notes and then we'll go back to questions. The second thing I wanted to underscore that Hari was talking about is this idea of what you were calling emotional love. Rainer Maria Rilke, in the Letters to a Young Poet, he, in the 7th letter, he calls this immature love. And really what this is our sort of primary, and there's nothing wrong with this instinct, it's about noticing it acknowledging it, observing it, and working with it in ourselves, so we're not always going around projecting it, literally projecting it like a film projector onto the screen of everyone that we meet, limiting thereby the love that we could actually receive, because we've tried to box it into something else. So immature love is what Hari already explained. It's this idea that there's another person who can come fill our voids, and that we're sort of half and they're half, and the two jigsaw together into a perfect thing. And that the parts of me and the pieces of me that I'm unsure with, that I'm insecure about, that are missing, I'll just find this other entity, and like a spaceship will join and become this perfect whole. And that's not right. That's not, because we're each a world. As Hari said, we're each our own world. And the more that we can take time and space and love to go into our world, then instead of this kind of fantasy or wish of merging and fusing in those ways with the other, we're bringing our world, they're bringing their world, and we can mix and we can understand ourselves as a cosmos and each other as a cosmos.
It's more like a fiery amalgamation.
Fiery amalgamation, right. With its own alchemy and its own genius, but not as a fulfilling, because like Hari said, that's just a bottomless pit of reenactment, right? That just, your whole life you could do that and never be satisfied and always be thirsty. So in the seventh letter, Rilke calls that immature love versus mature love. And I have these amazing cue cards here. Kristen Sudeikis, I don't know if you guys know her. She's a dance choreographer and also a divine teacher of love. Thanks. And there's a few, she and I just did a love event. Oh, does it come in backwards though? Is it backwards for them?
No.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's just our mirror. Okay. So she and I just recently did kind of an activation. We did an event on love for the JED Foundation, which some of you may know, beautiful organization working with children's mental health and teenagers and suicide prevention and self-love, basically love, inner love. So I just wanted to share a few of these. This one, you mentioned Rumi. What's that? Yeah, one is fine. Your task is not to seek for love, but merely to seek and find all the barriers within yourself that you have built against it. So we'll just share that one. The idea that it's really everywhere, romantic and just moment to moment with strangers, any moment. We sometimes over-focus on only romantic love, but it's really everywhere. So he's talking about pay attention to your barriers towards giving and receiving, which you also touched on with the rivers and movies. So thank you. That's all for now. Thank you, Hari.
Yeah.
Thank you for your words.
My pleasure. I'm so happy that last moment she could come and join us. And so you have, two people who really love talking about love here. And I would love to hear from you. And with any questions or stories, and please get right into it. I know it might be difficult. So, but I think the best way is what to do on Zoom. You raise your hand and I'll go see. Would anybody like to ask a question or share something about the information that, yeah, you can say, anybody, let's see. Ooh, a lot of people with no camera. Look at all that. Wow. Okay. Anybody? Would you like to ask? Okay, I see here. Satnam.
Just like to ask, the main role of a husband partner is to provide security, and just wondered what tips you have on that in terms of doing that. Not got the money part covered and all that sort of thing, but more from the emotional part, especially, we've known each other for 30 years. We've been handfasted and married for 8. Yet the feedback I get is, still not getting there on the security part. So I agree.
Satnam, thank you so much. And what he's sharing, if you didn't know, is that one of the teachings that Yogi Bhajan boiled down to is that a woman provides like relaxation and kindness and grace, and a man provides courage and authenticity and security. And I think one thing that's important in this teaching is to realize that's boiled down to one thing. And so when people take these teachings, and recently Kundalini's become very popular, you get like the one-liner, and it's really easy to get stuck in that. The security thing is a big deal, so thank you for bringing that up. Security is, now this is a teaching on the moon centers that, and maybe your partner would want to study them with me, because we talk a lot about security and insecurity. And
He actually took your moon centers course.
she's still feeling that. Oh. I'll talk to her. So the security issue is this. The security issue is this. If there's an insecurity, it's pretty natural for women to feel it. Women feel a lot more depth of sensation. So when a woman gets insecure, it could actually be something she has to attend to that has to do with her relationship, or it could be the natural sense of what's going on in her environment and in her world. Right, and so the meditation or daily meditation can help a woman know where that's coming from. And that feeling, if it's consistent, it could be one, a habit from an old habit that many women, because frankly, a lot of environments have not been safe for women. Mm-hmm. So they may be carrying a memory or a habit of insecurity. And this is something that meditation really helps with, associating yourself with a divine identity, that you have what it takes. And the other thing really is very important for women, and this is not easy to do, and that's to really exercise, to sweat and laugh daily. Now, I've been doing Kundalini Yoga for a long time, and I started cheating, and I admit it. I was cheating on my yoga. And so what I started doing is I hired a personal trainer, and now I can't cheat. So now he doesn't let me go until my flutter kicks are perfect, and this is perfect, and I'm covered with sweat. And we joke a lot and laugh a lot, and that helps. The glandular system has to be stimulated for you to change the habit or to look and make sure where the security is coming from. So I'd be happy, especially if she took the course, I'd be happy to talk to her a little bit more. And I was wondering if that was helpful.
Yeah, it was very helpful. I think for me, it's more on a lot of my past actions. We've been practicing Kundalini since the start of 2017. We're taking teachers training now, and that. But, I just wondered if there's any. I appreciate what you said, but just any tips for someone who hasn't provided that emotional security time to sort of start to write it more.
Absolutely. For men in these teachings, what's very important is your arc line. The arc line represents the halo, and it represents a man's ability to stand behind what he says and does. And so that trustworthiness is built. And so, of course, meditation and that joy of achieving things and creating things that you can stand behind. And someone says, well, I don't have the right job. It's not about that. It's much deeper than that. It's about the daily actions a human being takes. And of course, both of these things, insecurity and authenticity, are good for men and women. But for men, to help you create a more secure environment is to really dig deep and see what's important to you, what's really important to you, and live that. Really live that and make yourself happy. that happiness that the man feels, just the woman will reflect that happiness right back. So find out what makes you really happy, you know, to do and to be and to sing or whatever it is, how to create in the world, that you create it with your honest authenticity and you can stand behind it. Start creating a life like that for yourself and include that humility of understanding the larger forces at work that softens all of that energy. We nickname it God. You can call it humility, call it, you know, just the awesomeness or amazement of the universe and the game, that infinite game that we're playing together. Keep that in mind as you really go for what makes you happy. And she'll just smile like you won't believe. So,
Hadi, I have a question, kind of maybe as a follow-up to that, but thank you, Meg and Hadi, for sharing. And maybe either one of you could answer this, because one of the tensions I feel is, as a woman and as, you know, feminine energy who's supposed to provide and create the container and safe space for my man to be vulnerable, how do I create this space and hold the space for him to be vulnerable, but at the same time expect that he's strong and provides the security that I need for me and my family? So I don't know if you can talk about that tension and that, you know, the space to be vulnerable for the partner, but at the same time these expectations that they're not, you know, that they're strong and don't show weakness.
well, anytime the word expectation comes, it's time to meditate and look at those mental, physical of emotional of mental love. Look at those aspects when you say, this should act this way. And providing the container, I've got something for you that could be a little confronting. You are the container. You don't have to provide anything. Take good care of yourself. Love yourself. Self-care. Your aura, work on that aura, work on that. You naturally are the container. You don't have to work to contain anything. You're doing it all the time. By asking this question, you're already saying, why isn't it a good container? What kind of containers? So don't work hard at being the container. You are it. You are naturally it. You are, feminine energy is a powerful container as is. We are not used to acknowledging it. We think we have to do something or change. It's already there. It's almost like a self-kindness to see it. I don't want to get narcissistic about it, but it's a self-kindness to just look at it, to know that this is naturally, as much as you're blinking your eye, you are the container for your family. So start looking at how you already are that. That would be my homework. And once you acknowledge you are, things are going to start falling into place. And I would say it could be that certain things are disempowering you, and that you don't feel up to the game, or you feel like you're behind the time, or there's something about the energy not working out for you right now that you feel you're not showing up enough. That's not happening. You are showing up enough. You are enough. And because you are who you are in that body, that space is being created. Practice seeing it. Very important. This is really, really big. Practice seeing it. It'll really help. I have a beautiful meditation for you that I'll give you. It's me within me is the purity. Me and within me is the reality. Me and within me is the grace. I am master of the space. So please send me an email, and that'll be your new meditation. Me within me is the purity. Me within me is the reality. Me within me is the grace. I am master of the space. And you just repeat it to yourself. I'll give you a mudra and things like that. A beautiful meditation. You light up like a light bulb. Start saying that to yourself.
I want to, yeah, beautiful. I just want to add a little bit on that, which is, I agree with Hari that I think that we don't acknowledge and take care of ourselves as the containers and as the infinite and as the energy fields that we are. We are that. We always are that, and we are that powerful. And so to be conscious of that and aware of that, and to give ourselves, especially as women, I think really, you know, just from so many years of practice working with people, it's such a theme that we give ourselves away all the time. We give everything we have and everything that we are, and we think sometimes anything but as selfish. In The Art of Loving, Eric Fromm even points this out, and he says self-love is the opposite of selfishness. It's actually caring deeply for the container so that the love kind of overfloweth. I mean, we are that. So giving ourselves permission to, like we're talking about, acknowledge all aspects, all feelings, who we are, take care of ourselves, give that to us. That's working at the quantum level, because everything we put in is it's in our field then. It goes with us wherever we go.
And don't mess with this, because this is real. People say, oh, I'm taking care of myself. I'm going to a yoga class. Then they go out and get totally drunk, embarrass themselves in front of people, and then they then they expect it to be okay. It's not okay. Because we're really looking at love here. We're looking at a high frequency. So I'm not laying a guilt trip. I'm just saying self-care is self-care. And this isn't to anyone specific. It's just the low self-esteem is such a deep habit to hurt ourselves and each other. It's such a habit that we're not quite sure how to get out of it. So we sell self-care and everyone goes, yeah, self-care, and they write the list. But you all know what self-care really is. And it's really this depth that doesn't compromise on the absolute beauty that you are. You know? And that you treat yourself exactly that way. And it's rise up, and it's happening anyway in this time. Rise up and start looking at that possibility of who you might be if you treated yourself that way. That kindness.
Including all the feelings, right? Whatever is emerging, that you meet yourself with love and acceptance. Self-care is not trying to only be happy in a specific performative way all the time and then do all the things to just fit into that tiny box. It's owning the vastness and being with yourself and
it's
inhabiting
a practice.
each space. Yeah, it's a practice.
It's a practice.
Yeah.
Self-love is as much of a practice as anything else. Maybe harder. You know, the kindness, to develop a kind self-talk. This is all nonviolent communication, not only with those around you, how about with yourself? And, you know, this takes a little bit of work. So, practicing a little bit day to day, you'd be surprised. I'm 30 years later, and this divine life, I'm so happy. But, put in the work. It's worth it. It's really worth it. It's not that bad. It's fun. You can have fun. You can hang out with great people and do great things. And then experience love. Any other questions? Do I do the pages?
If
Anybody
someone
have?
has a question, they could just unmute themselves.
Oh, my husband's here. Hi, Dave Frank. Wow. Do you have a question, Dave? No?
I
Anybody
don't have a question, but I'd just like to mention to Al that Yogi Bhajan has a big, great book of men's teachings. It used to be five books, and now it's one big fantastic book with pretty much everything you can imagine, every male, female issue right into. I can't hear, Al, I can't hear you, but anyway, I would recommend that highly. I learned a tremendous amount from that.
Says the man in the beanie copter hat. But yes, it is, and there's books on them. There's so many resources, and if you gave me your email, I can send a list of these resources and the meditation that I'm going to teach today, and I'll send the meditation on the purity and the grace also to you in an email, if you'd like. If that'll be helpful to you. And you know, I can write up some of my notes as well. I'm happy to share them. Any other questions? I'd love to know who's on, but there's a lot of people. So
I think this is the book that Dave was talking about. It's the Man-to-Man book.
right. Oh, he's holding it up. Yes.
It's a really, really, really good book. I highly recommend it.
Yeah. And of course, there's A Woman's Book of Yoga, Embracing Our Natural Life Cycles, and A Woman's Book of Meditation, The Power of a Peaceful Mind. And those are books I wrote. And there's also many lectures and books on Kundalini Yoga for women. I have to acknowledge my teacher for addressing sexuality, relationships, children, all the more challenging things of life, but fearlessly addressing these things.
And I love what you said too about we're each our own experts of love, because it looks and feels differently for each of us based on who we are and our inner world, which creates our outer world. So knowing our own, not just looking out there to some expert, but in here to what you know what you know. And, and if you give yourself time and space to listen and tune into that and cultivate it, that's everything.
Exactly. A loving relationship brings happiness, big happiness, not happy, sad, go, 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 you know, up and down emotion, but the big H of happiness, and also does no harm to yourself. You know? So really think about that. It will mess with your ego. So if you're not quite sure what the difference is between your ego and yourself, it's good to have a practice that help you. I would like to, let me see that. I would like to, I'd like to try doing a meditation with you if you can stay a few minutes. Would you like? Yes. Okay. So this meditation, I'll cut the times because we talked a lot. This meditation, thank you, Meg.
Thank you.
And I'm going to NYU
Thanks, everybody.
to take her class.
Yeah. No, and to come, just come.
I'm going to go take a class because I like everything. I like talking about love. So we're all invited. Did you? A lot of people here. So in this meditation, it's called meditation to assist you in eliminating the fear of love. And so what would the fear of love be? The fear of love would be this, this attachment to the emotions, this constant assessment of the good or bad of it. You know what I mean? Merging isn't easy. You have to grow. You have to grow. You have to have tolerance, get a hold of your temper, have patience, humility, and get a handle on forgiveness. By the way, the first thing to forgive is God for creating this crazy universe and all that's in it. You could just say the universe itself and how it works. And then the second thing is yourself, and loosen up. As my brother believes in the religion of the great God of slack. You have to cut yourself a little bit of slack and practice self-forgiveness and learn how to say, I'm sorry, I love you, please forgive me, and thank you. The Ho'oponopono. I'm sorry, I love you, please forgive me, and thank you. So, in this meditation, get yourself comfortable, seated comfortably, okay? Shake out a little bit. And open your arms out, of course. Now, remember what I said is that in Kundalini, in order to do all those things, we need strong nerves. So this is a tough posture, and it's for your nervous system. If you haven't done Kundalini Yoga before, please take good care of yourself, arms, shoulders. You can cheat in different ways, and just hang in there with us, okay? But don't do any harm to your body. Arms are up, and then angle yourself back a little bit to 60 degrees. Keep the chin down so you have a little bit of a back bend, okay, everyone? A little bit of a back bend. And I'm going to put on some music. Close your eyes and focus through your brow point. And you start breathing, and soon you'll be chanting a mantra. And the mantra is Sung Wahe Guru. And I'll start playing it here for you. Keep going. Oh, people are coming down. She didn't start her time yet. Yes, the time is going. The clock is going. And here we go. And I hope you can hear the music.
Yes.
You can hear it?
No.
Because if we have someone coming in, you'll just have to use your own breath now for a moment. And we're listening to Sung Wahe Guru. So chant with me until the music comes. Deep breath. Sung Wahe Guru. 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 Sung. Keep up and stretch up. Sung Wahe Guru. 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 Sung Wahe God is love is in every cell of my body.
No, don't.
Keep up, stretch up. It will work the glands and the nerves. My husband's here and he can tell you cheaters are welcome to the best you can. Lift up. Hang in there. It's a difficult posture. But my teacher said the Kundalini will rise and fall many times. So give it a try. Kundalini is nothing but the force of the environment working on your glandular system. You're working with it, be in the flow of it like a river. You'll meet tough parts, blocks, just keep flowing.
Muted.
No judgment, no guilt. Go through the experience as it will happen today for you. Keep a smile through the calamity. Give the universe a big hug, a very big hug. Yay. Keep the neck healthy. Open your arms. Lean back about 60. So it's a little bit. Almost there. Reach, reach. Reach for the best of the best for yourself. The very, very best. Less than a minute left. Inhale, deep breath. Bring the hands here. Stretch the arms out, but push your back back. See if you can figure that out. Interlace your fingers together like this, up at 60. So their fingers are interlaced. Push them forward, push your back back. Exhale. Inhale. Stretch. Exhale. Inhale, stretch. Exhale, we're not done. Start flying like an eagle. Fly like an eagle. Beautiful flies. Beautiful music comes on now. So nice. Just fly. Strong birds. Strong. Nice and strong. This time, just listen. Listen. Get that listening mind on. Listen to every part of this. The other person is you. It's very impossible. But for many people, I think they'd admit relationships are more impossible. Just beautiful eagles flying through the sky. Don't be too rigid with it, it'll never work. Your elbows can bend a teeny bit. Feel your fingertips moving through the air. Close your eyes, fly through the sky. And listen to the mantra. Hey, pretend you're blissed out. Use your imagination, which is same as your spirit, really. Let your mind be the eagle. Don't worry about it. Just keep going. High above. The observing mind. If you can listen, you can receive. So listen. That humility comes with many Kundalini meditations. Get the prana moving. Last few seconds. Fly. Don't worry, fly. Inhale deeply, interlace your hands like we did before, and stretch the arms away from you and lean your body into the back body. You're creating like a polarity. Hands reach away, body back reaches back. Exhale. Inhale again. Hold. Reach forward with your hands back with your body. And let it go. Last one, inhale. Stretch. Create the polarity. Hands forward. Push your body into your back. Exhale. Last part. Right palm up. Left palm down. Quick, quick, quick. Alternating. Quick. This is just very short. Minute and a half. Very, very fast. Right palm up. Left palm down. Go quick. Alternating. One up, one down. Go as quick as you can. You're a bird flying as fast as you can. As quick as you can. Go for it. Go for it. Little motions. Little tiny motions. Don't make it too big. This is kind of what they're talking. Quick, 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 quick. Circulate the prana. Circulate the prana. Go quick, quick, quick. I'm keeping time. It's not that long. Quick, 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 quick. Quick, 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 quick. Wake everything up from all that situation. Quick, 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 quick. Very quick. A few more seconds. Come on, come on, come on. Even if you've got little baby arms. You're going quick, 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 quick with those little baby arms. Sweat, 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 sweat. Sweat, 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 sweat. Come on, come on, come on. Go, 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 go. Inhale. Hold that. Squeeze up, push against yourself, push the back. The fingers are interlaced at that 60-degree angle. Exhale. Inhale again. Stretch. Exhale. Last time, inhale. Hands move away, back fills the back of your body. Fill the back of your body. It's your nervous system. Fill it up with yourself. Press into your back. The kidneys, the adrenals. Press the back of your heart. Exhale. As you relax, stretch your legs out if you can. Stretch them out in front of you and reach down to your toes. Flex your feet a few times. Let yourself stretch. This is important after this. Let yourself stretch. Let yourself stretch. Stretch your legs and feet, really stretch. Here's a note on this yoga set. Endurance is a very good way to put the intuition working. Your only friend you have is your own self. And when this happens, the body gets in balance. This will keep you tolerant even as your sensitivity goes up, which if you practice yoga, and especially Kundalini Yoga, your sensitivity will go up. And you will have deeper sensations, deeper feelings, and a container to hold them. Tolerance, patience, holding your temper, humility, and forgiveness. Please inhale and exhale. And please gently come sitting up. I don't know about you, but here in New York, it's very hot and we're all sweating. And maybe you are too. And I'm grateful for it. I'm grateful for it. This is a beautiful set. We cut teeny bits of time off, but you really did almost full time, it's not quite. But I can share this with you if you have an interest, and the lecture that goes along with it, for the fear of, conquering. There's a fear to love because it was the fear of self-growth and maturity. Because we're not sure what will happen. And in that, the woman I worked with who was, as Rilke called it, the immature love or the emotional love. As she started to see what she was doing, there was so much more joy. There's a lot more joy. And please don't, this is some of the most deep and wonderful work. It's also lots of fun, as you can see. Even that, can pain be fun? Yes. Suffering's not fun, but pain can be fun because you just kind of move around a little bit. Move with it. Don't get too rigid with yourself. Once again, the river has to flow. Love is a practice. Everything's changing molecularly all the time. Everything's changing. So realize that and change with yourself, and you keep stable, but you're willing to go. You're willing to go. You're willing to shift. And I thank you very, very much for joining me today. And I'll put my notes together if you like. We can meet again next Sunday, and we're talking about power, and that word power. And I'm thrilled about that. And then it goes to sex and beauty. That's great, right? So I look forward to this. It's been a pleasure. And if there's been any logistical glitches, please forgive me. Getting the hang of this. And it's been a pleasure being with you. And we'll just chant a long Sat Nam, And then I'll just play the gong a little as you go out, okay? Bring your palms together. Inhale. May the long-time sun shine upon you, all love surround you, and the pure light within you guide your way out.